Hey, welcome to the next activity in using 3, 4, 5 triangles to test squareness, in the construction industry. So this is another paper activity. You'll need either two pieces of paper or a ruler and a piece of paper. And just because not everybody has a ruler, I am going to kind of create my own ruler using a piece of paper, okay? And how I do that is I have a single piece of paper here, all right? And up in a corner of the paper, all right, I'm going to just guess how much an inch is. And from the edge to here, I'm going to make a little tick mark that represents my inch. Okay? Something like this. And then I'm going to tear that off. So that's going to be my measuring tool now. Okay. And to create my ruler, I'm going to take another straight edge of my paper. And in fact, I'm going to take the long edge because I want to have as many inches as possible. And I'm just going to mark out, okay, at least 10 inches up. Okay. And once I do that, what I'll end up with is something that looks like this. So I got my own little ruler. All right. So once you have your ruler, you're going to have another piece of paper here. Now, what we're going to do, I'm going to try to explain, we're doing this with paper, but I'm also going to try to explain what you would do in the field. Okay. In the field, you'd have a tape measure, all right? Or if you're going a long distance, okay, you'd have a tape that just has a roll that measures up, okay? And you need two people for this activity, okay? So this time we're actually going to use the 3, 4, 5 triangles to lay out a rectangle. Because remember, we like to build in boxes, and boxes have rectangles and 90-degree angles, okay? So it's kind of a weird thing, but we're going to use those special right triangles we talked about, those special 3, 4, 5 triangles, in addition to maybe the 5, 12, 13 one, to lay out squares. Okay, imagine you got a foundation, all right? You got some chalk line, you've got some tape measures, you got a partner, you got something to mark with, okay? And you need to mark out the walls on the foundation here, where the framers are going to come and put the walls. All right? And let's just say, to make things simple, okay, one of the sets of walls that we need to build is a room that's 3 feet by 4 feet. Okay? Again, we're just simplifying it here to begin with to make it a little bit easier to remember. So what you're going to do is you're going to go along the edge of the foundation, all right, and you're going to snap a line. Okay, first you just snap a line that is relatively straight, that you can kind of eyeball, that's relatively straight along the foundation. Okay. If you have a corner that's already been marked, okay, then you would pull from that corner. Okay. And then you're going to connect. You're going to make 3 feet. Okay, so along that line, wherever that wall is supposed to be, you're going to mark 3 feet. So what you can do on your piece of paper here is you can take your inch, all right, or your ruler, I guess, since you got your ruler now. And I'm just going to go along the edge of the paper here, and I am going to mark at 3 inches. And I can put it anywhere. I'm gonna put it anywhere, right? I'm probably right here in the center, just to make my life a little easier, okay? So I'm gonna mark out a 3-inch line right here in the center using my ruler. Now remember, you should have a total of 3 inches there. So it might be, I didn't quite get it in the center, but really it doesn't need to be in the center exactly. But I don't want it right on the edge, okay? So don't start from the edge going 3 inches, because it'll make it a little bit harder to do the activity, okay? So this is 3 inches. So I'll mark it here. 3. Okay, from there to there is 3. Now, what our point is, we have two corners of our room. Okay. Now we have to go 4 feet up. Okay, 4 feet up for our room here, and we're just going to have a rectangle, a 3 by 4 rectangle. Now I don't know where these other corners are though. Okay, and that's where I use these 3, 4, 5 triangle to help me figure out those corners. Now I could guess on a small sheet of paper, if you've got a straight edge, you could pretty much make a 90-degree angle right here and eyeball it and measure up 4 inches and be pretty close and accurate. We're not going to do it that way, because in the field, okay, you might have a distance of like 20 feet or 30 feet or 40 feet, and it's real hard to eyeball that. Okay, so that's why we use this technique. Okay, so now you're going to have one partner stand here, and you're going to have another partner, okay, stand over here, and there's going to be a tape measure between you. All right, what we have is a ruler. So just imagine, that that's in the field is going to happen. But we're just going to use our ruler, and what we're going to do is we're going to measure 4 inches, okay, 4 inches away from this first corner, and we're going to measure a little bit off square, okay, a little bit to the side, and make a dot, okay. And then we're going to measure another 4 inches, okay, but a little bit closer to where we think the square is. All right, and then we're going to go over even a little bit further to the other side of our mark and measure where 4 inches would be. And we're going to do a final one. We're going to do 4 different marks, okay, 4 different dots that create an arc. Okay, that create an arc that is 4 feet away, or 4 inches away, sorry, from this corner of the room, which happens to be the center of our arc, right? It's almost like we're going to draw a whole big circle around this thing, but we're just only going to draw a little bit of an arc, and every point on the arc is going to be 4 feet away from this point. All right, so you've seen here that I've drawn I did my 4 points, and then I just connected them with an arc, okay? Just kind of eyeballed the arc. All right, now it may not make sense why we're doing this at first, but it is the most accurate way, okay, when you're laying stuff out on in the field, okay? So every single dot on this arc is 4 feet away from here, all right? Now, if we went 3 feet, 4 feet, we could kind of remember eyeball it, okay? If we're to eyeball it, then if this is a 3, 4, 5 triangle, which it would have to be, because remember, we want this to be 90 degrees, okay? So 3, 4, then that means the distance from the other corner of our room to where we have up here should be 5 feet, right? So we're going to use that to our advantage, that relationship, that 3, 4, 5 relationship to our advantage to lay this out perfectly, all right? So we're going to go to this other corner, and I'm going to measure now from here, I'm going to measure an arc. That's going to be 5 feet away, or 5 inches in our case of paper, okay, 5 inches away. And I'm going to make 4 marks again. Now I want to have a nice arc where I see it kind of go up a little bit and then back down, okay? So I'm going to do 4 points. And I remember my arc is, these two have got to cross at some point though, so I got to do points, maybe 2 points on the side of this and 2 points on the other side. Okay, so I've done my 4 points here, and remember this is 5 inches from here. Now I see that these cross, and where they cross should be my third corner of my room, and it should be, if I draw a line from there down to this corner, it should have a 90 degree. So I went, go ahead and I arced that. I arced this, and then where they crossed, okay, that's where my fourth corner of my room is. And it's with paper, and we have our own measuring, so don't be disappointed if it doesn't look exactly like 90 degrees. The point is to learn the process, okay? And that process would be one person standing here, the other person standing with the tape measure, okay, and this person holds this end fixed while the other person takes a large pencil or some sort of marking device at the end of the tape measure, in this case at 4 feet here, and slides it along the concrete foundation, okay, to make an arc. And then this guy jumps over here, all right, and they measure out 5 feet, and the guy with the pencil, he arcs while this guy's holding it steady at 5 feet. And then where they cross, then they take a string line from here to here, they both hold it down and someone snaps it, and now we've got a nice straight line that's 90 degrees from here. Now we only got 3 corners though. Remember, we need something, a room that's 4 corners. So it's pretty easy. We just do the same process, but starting from this corner of the room. We're going to arc at 4 inches here, and then we're going to arc starting from this one, heading over at 5. Find our point, snap our lines, and then we can actually snap this last line once we get this point. Alright, and what you'll end up with finally is like this here. 4 walls if we consider the edge 1 wall, okay? And we should have 90 degrees at each corner. Now one way to confirm that we actually did this correctly, okay, is to cross tape, which is to say, hey, we can measure from here to here, and write that down, that measurement, and then measure from here to here, and in our case it should be 5, right, because we got 3, 4, 5. And if these equal each other, then we also know that we have 90 degree angles. That concludes the lesson. One other piece, okay? So go ahead and on your own, on the back side, okay, this is a 3 by 4 square, all right, that we used a 3, 4, 5 triangle to lay out. On the back side, I want you to lay out a 6 by 8